الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
A lot of times we're asked to explain the month of Ramadan and to explain what do Muslims do in the month of Ramadan, whether you're asked in the campus in high school or in college or at work or in the neighborhood. So you would hear a variety of answers. Most people would answer, I claim, or in my opinion, most people would answer when asked about the month of Ramadan that the month of Ramadan is a month in which we don't eat or drink from sunrise to sunset, and that we donate money, and that we go to the masjid more often or more frequently than we do in other days of the year. If we were to explain to people very briefly what is the month of Ramadan, then I suggest that we look at the verse that describes Ramadan or fasting in the Quran. And it tells us exactly what is the purpose of the month of Ramadan. Why is the month of Ramadan prescribed upon us? And it says at the end of the verse, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that Siyam, fasting, has been prescribed upon us as a nation, as it has been prescribed upon nations before us, so that we may achieve taqwa. This word taqwa is a very abstract, high-level, vague term that most people don't understand what exactly it means when it's to be translated into actions. But the month of Ramadan makes it so easy for us to understand the meaning of the word taqwa. Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that fasting has been prescribed so that we may achieve taqwa. Taqwa. If we were to summarize the meaning or the definition of the word taqwa, taqwa literally means for us to be where Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to be, and not to be where Allah Azza wa Jal hates us to be. So the month of Ramadan, through being watchful to Allah Azza wa Jal, teaches us this attitude of taqwa, this habit of taqwa, this habit of being self-aware of what you're doing. Because when you're fasting, no one can see you. You can go and hide in the kitchen or in the closet and have a bite, a drink, without anyone seeing you. But in the month of Ramadan, you train yourself and you exercise to be watchful of Allah Azza wa Jal. That is the meaning of taqwa. So a lot of people in the month of Ramadan fast, but actually they don't achieve that level of taqwa. There are three kinds of people when it comes to fasting in the month of Ramadan. There's a kind of people that fast, and the only thing that they get out of their fasting is the feel of hunger and thirst. It is only an outwards or an outside physical fasting, where people just don't eat or drink. Those people miss the whole point. These people don't understand what Ramadan or what fasting is really about. And that's why the hadith says, رُبَّ صَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنْ صِيَامِهِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالْعَطَشِ. There are people who only get thirst and hunger out of their siyam. There's another kind of people, a higher level in terms of their siyam, the type of siyam, which are the people that actually their body parts and organs and senses participate in the fasting. So you have your eyes that abstain from looking at the haram. That's an act of fasting, because fasting really means to abstain from. So your eyes are fasting from watching the haram or the unlawful or even the wasteful things on the internet, on TV, and so on. You have people whom their ears would be fasting from listening again to the wasteful things that they listen to in other days other than the month of Ramadan. You have people that their hands are fasting, that their tongue is in a state of abstinence or fasting, and so on. This is definitely a higher level than people who just fast from eating or that abstain from eating. The third level, which is the highest of all levels, is people who actually physically fast, don't eat or drink, whom their senses and organs participate in the fasting, and on top of all that, their hearts are also fasting. Their hearts are in a state of taqwa, being watchful to Allah Azza wa Jal. These are people that are striving to get closer and closer and closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Al-Junayd, one of the ulama of the past time, he was asked, who are the best people who fast in the month of Ramadan? So he said, عبد ذاهب عن نفسه متصل بربه إن تكلم فعن الله وإن نطق فلله وإن سكت فمع الله فهو لله وبالله ومع الله. He was asked about the best of all fasting. He said, this is a person that is wholly connected with Allah Azza wa Jal. If he talks or if she talks, then they talk what pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. If they are quiet, they're quiet for a good reason that satisfies Allah Azza wa Jal. And these people are with Allah Azza wa Jal, talk about Allah Azza wa Jal, even be quiet for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is the best kind of fasting. And this is the true meaning of fasting. It is not about food, it is not about drink, it is about taqwa. And the Prophet ﷺ tells us, at-taqwa ha-huna, and he pointed to his heart, which means fasting is all about your heart. It has to do with the heart. And throughout the acts that we do in the month of Ramadan, we take care of our hearts. We read Quran, we take care of our hearts. We fast, we take care of our hearts. We go to the masjid, we take care of our hearts. We donate, we take care of our hearts. So it all leads to taqwa. And that is the purpose of the siyam. كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So that you may achieve the end result of at-taqwa. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal that we would be among the muttaqeen. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to be where Allah Azza wa Jal pleases and likes us to be, and I ask Allah Azza wa Jal not to be in places where Allah Azza wa Jal does not like us to be at. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهم كما ربونا صغارا وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.